think so. Right when I got there, I ran for the student government and won from my residential hall. So I was in the student government, and I met a lot of cool people. Started assimilating quickly into the American culture, and started understanding how democratic even the universities are to a certain extent. From the mentor standpoint, so I actually did 5 years. So I did the dual degree. But for the core stuff, there's a few professors. There was one in my thermodynamics and one in Cal 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly which one right now. But they really helped take the time out outside classes and sit down with me and really help me out and a bunch of stuff. One of the other ones was it's an agricultural school, right? It's a land grant university. And they have welding classes. So I actually use all my elective to pick up a lot of life skills. So my professor for sailing, my professor for welding were actually really cool mentors for dealing with life more than just the professional life, which a lot of people in, say, physics or chemistry or the core subjects which make up your major helped me. The other two I think I should really mention is criminal justice and finance were up there in people teaching me life skills and helping me deal with, I guess it's in the news now, the racial divide in the United States, right? So my criminal justice professor went into deep about what the issues were in America and stuff. And it's kind of crazy to see that come out after all these years in my classes, like the United States kind of dealing with that, right? And the other was finance, and I feel like that's a critical class to understand what to do once you start earning a decent salary in the United States. How do we intelligently invest in different things? So yeah, so finance, criminal justice, and the third one I'll probably say like a pre-law class where you understand what your basic rights are in this country and how to deal with a lot of situations with respect to the law. And how, because all businesses are kind of run on that. When you sign your lease for your apartment to rent a place in the university, what is the landlord's obligations to yours, and how to write an email where you could get the stuff done which you needed to get done in a place and living. So there you go.
So very practical. Yeah, I guess the things that you remember about college are unique in the sense because not very often students can identify, okay, financial literacy or aspects of law that help them. So thanks for sharing that. Michigan State University is, like you said, a big land grant institution. It's a public university mandated to educate students from the state. And what is the setting like? What is it that really worked for you there? And you got involved pretty quickly too, so that's great. Describe MSU as a place for someone who's considering college choices.
So Michigan State is this gorgeous university with tons of land and about, I forget what the numbers, somewhere around 40, 50,000 kids come there every year. Big chunk of them are international students. The university definitely has a priority in helping those students assimilate or just get oriented really quickly and understand what are the requirements there and how life is over there. It's a party school, that's for sure, and there's a stereotype to that, and so is Arizona and a lot of other places. But it's got a very good engineering school, very good, well-funded business school, right? So if you do end up going in the automotive industry, it's a very good stepping stone because the engineering department is well funded by one of the big three. So back when I was there, I think Pontiac, which is no longer a brand of GM, heavily funded the engineering department. So you'll meet all the right people from Detroit for the big three coming up and picking kids up for that. Or, Kellogg, which I didn't know back then, this multinational company which makes cereal for around the world, is from Kalamazoo, Michigan. So they're picking up a lot of people from there as well. Tier 1, tier 2s for the automotive industry. And also, if you look at it, I think there's a lot of companies which are defense contractors or railway, like CSX, etc. So there's a a very diverse group of companies which are picking up their candidates for, diversity or
Interesting.
increasing their company footprint from Michigan State, because they're not as expensive as picking up someone from, say, Ivy League school, right? Someone coming out
Got
of
it.
Ivy League school can easily be picking up a salary 90K plus. Michigan State's closer to like the median for a, like an entry level job on a lot of majors. But then again, they have a phenomenal business school. Most of my friends were English majors or music majors. I happened to be in that dorm. So it's a very diverse university which feeds a lot of different industries. There you
Fascinating,
go.
fascinating. I remember when you were applying, you were always thinking of cars and designing cars and mechanical engineering and all of that. And you have a family, your father runs an engineering sort of hydroelectric sort of plant and all of that. So you had that disposition, so to speak. How did you discover your interests and eventually did a major in industrial design sort of and supply chain management, which is got to do with the business school, I believe? And how does it
Yes.
work?
So once I got in, I realized I met a lot of people who were in the field through my exposure at Michigan State. And a lot of the professors were generous enough to give me their time off classes to discuss different careers in engineering. So, I think a big part of selecting something you're going to do for the rest of your life is meeting the people who did it, right? So are you a person who can spend the next 7 months, 6 days a week running heavy shifts in a factory? Or are you a person who's more comfortable sitting on a CAD machine designing a layout of a factory? Or are you more of a person who's more people, centric? Like, so for me, industrial engineering, and I did applied engineering, which is a combination of all the base engineering courses, and you specialize. I did in manufacturing processes and a couple others, and you do your capstone project at the end of the engineering. But I realized real quick that I enjoyed people significantly more, which is part of IE, right? So industrial engineering, you go and standardize work, you standardize layouts. That's a lot of things which are, what would be the average way of doing this? What are the outliers in that process? And how do I, set it up so that it's easy for people and machines and designers to pick up and go and do those things. So you're interacting with architects or, we'll have so something like people who are putting the robots and the machinery in, they're called integrators. You're working with them, you're working with labor, you're doing time studies, you're setting up a lot of future things which are going to happen in plants. So I like that aspect of moving things around, but at the same time, I really enjoyed business school. A lot of engineers actually not very good at accepting the rules of accounting. So I thrived in accounting 201, 202, which was a weeding out class. And the econ finance supply chain classes I excelled in. So it was, I understood what me and my personality was by the end of college, and I kind of refocused my path with my career based on the classes I was taking.